It started like most political explosions do, with one sentence from Donald Trump that no one expected, and the world wasn't ready for. At a packed rally in Texas, surrounded by cheering supporters and media cameras, Trump turned toward foreign affairs. His voice got louder, his tone sharper. And then, without warning, he dropped the line that set the world on fire. That guy from Burkina Faso, what's his name? Traoré? Total fraud? A corrupt dictator? He's stealing gold, cozying up to Russia, kicking out America. He's not a president, he's a thug. Gasps were audible. Reporters stopped typing. The crowd laughed, unsure if it was another Trump joke or something deeper. But in Ouagadougou, it wasn't funny. And within hours, Ibrahim Traoré responded, not through diplomats, not through press aides. He stepped in front of the cameras. Himself? What followed was a televised, unscripted response that's now being called the Second Non-Aligned Declaration. Traoré looked into the camera and said, calmly, Mr. Trump, Burkina Faso is not one of your casinos, and I am not your puppet. His tone, icy. His delivery, surgical. You call me corrupt while your own courts debate your criminal charges. You call me a dictator while your capital was stormed by your own citizens. If you want to talk about thugs, perhaps start with your mirror. No notes, no smiles. Just fire disguised as composure. This wasn't just a clapback. This was a challenge, and Traoré wasn't done. We do not take orders from those who destabilized Africa for decades. We will not apologize for defending our resources, our land, or our dignity. If you think Burkina Faso fears your tweets, you've mistaken us for your cabinet. The room was silent. Even veteran journalists called it the boldest African response to an American president in decades. And here's what made it historic. It wasn't about Trump. It was about what he represents. A system, history, a mindset that still views Africa as a pawn, not a power. Traoré dismantled it live, unapologetically. We refuse to be called corrupt by men whose wealth comes from exploitation, bankruptcy, and bombs. We will not be judged by a billionaire who used his office to pardon war criminals. And he didn't just speak for Burkina Faso. He spoke for every African nation that's been ridiculed, underestimated, and stripped of dignity in global halls of power. His words echoed far beyond borders, because they weren't crafted for applause. They were carved from history. Within 24 hours, the speech had been translated into 19 languages. Telegram channels in Mali, Niger, and Ghana flooded with clips. African youth lit up TikTok. One clip alone, Traoré saying, "Start with your mirror," got 12 million views in 36 hours. But it didn't stop with applause. Leaders from South Africa, Ethiopia, and even Brazil started echoing his tone. The African Union issued a rare, unified statement. Africa will not accept being spoken down to by any former or current foreign leader. We stand with Burkina Faso's right to sovereignty and dignity. Meanwhile, Trump's campaign scrambled. His team claimed he was speaking metaphorically and meant no disrespect to the people of Burkina Faso. Too late, because the fire had already spread. Traoré's real power wasn't in his anger. It was in his clarity. He didn't just defend himself. He redefined what modern African leadership looks like. And if you believe that kind of leadership deserves to be heard, stand with us. Hit that like button like a soldier drawing a line in the dirt. Smash subscribe like a fighter who never backs down. Because this isn't just a video. This is a front line in the battle for dignity. And drop your country in the comments right now. Let's show how far this message is marching. From Ouagadougou to Oakland. From Dakar to Detroit. From Kinshasa to Karachi. The resistance is global, and it starts with you. Back in the US, Trump hasn't responded directly. Is done. Because for once, it wasn't America controlling the narrative. It was Africa. And not through NGOs, peace talks, or moderated panels. Through a president who used the word corrupt as fuel and turned it into a declaration. A declaration that said, Africa is not your insult. Africa is your equal. And if you can't handle that, then sit down. This wasn't just a warning, it was a shift. And now, the question isn't whether the world will listen. It's whether it can keep pretending not to.